I was having a conversation with someone and they told me, I need you to say a prayer for me. I said, okay, cool, no problem. What is it that I'm praying for? And they got in their feelings because they were like, well, what you mean? I just need you to pray for me. And then it became this big old thing about like how people are always in their business. Now, here is the message. And I want y'all to really hear me good at what I'm about to say. We will ask people to pray for us to death, but we can't articulate what it is that we need prayer for. I'm a firm believer that if the vision isn't plain, it ain't gonna work out. If you can't articulate what it is that you need someone to pray for you for, is it really a prayer? If the first thing that comes to your mind is that you trying to be in my business, then you wrong from the jump anyway. See, if you can't articulate what it is that you need prayer for, that's part of the problem right now. Because see, there's two different things. There's problems and there's God problems. Let me give you an example. Years ago, I made up in my mind that I wanted to be impactful to the world. I wanted my time on this earth to mean something. I wanted to be able to live on if I'm not physically here. I want my works to live on. Now, that's what I wanted. That was my vision. So years later, when I was encountering so many different things, I was of the mind of asking people to pray for me. Man, y'all just pray for me, man, because I'm going through it. Now, years ago, I just told you what my vision was for my life. But in order to achieve the very thing that I was asking God for, I had to go through some mess. A lot of the times I talk about my kids. And I say, I want my kids to be the best versions of themselves. I want my kids to figure out their why. But in order for that to happen, I had to go through some mess so I'm able to properly articulate to them how they can get through their mess. I had to be an example because I prayed to be impactful. I prayed to be impactful and I started making videos. Even before the videos, I started making long posts, very long posts because I wanted to be impactful. But they were getting 1 or 2 likes. People was just going past it. People was telling me that I was writing, all of this stuff on social media. Ain't nobody got time to read all of that stuff. Then it turned into a blog. Then it turned into a podcast. But going through all of that stuff, in the midst of it, I was asking for prayer. I need y'all to pray for me. I need help. But here's the thing. See, that was a God problem. See, certain problems in your life, God got to take you through there to get you to where he needs you to be. And when you can't properly articulate what it is that you want people to pray for, you mess it up. See, we have this notion that the devil will block your blessings. Now, I had been doing a lot of reading, and what I started to understand and what I'm starting to understand is that it's not necessarily that the devil will block your blessings, because what God has for you is for you. But what the devil has power and control over is how you perceive those blessings. You see, there's somebody out there right now that's getting up in preparation for work. Now, they went through a season of being unemployed. And during that season of unemployment, they made all of these promises to God that if you will grant me this job, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to serve you. I'm going to give you all the praise. Then you get that job. So now you're on that job. Now you're like, okay, I want a promotion, or I see this other better position. I want that. I need that. So you say those prayers again. Then guess what? God shows up, shows out, and now you got that position. But now you're getting up this morning, and the very thing that you prayed for has now become your biggest complaint. Now you get up out that bed, and your first thing you say on your mind, I don't feel like going in this office today. This person better not say nothing to me, but you prayed for this. So it's not that the devil is blocking your blessing, but what he does is he swoops through and he changes your vision. Now, what was a blessing you perceive as a burden. So now you're asking for prayer. Hey, I need y'all to pray for me. So you're asking people to pray against what you asked God to give you. I say this all the time. I was praying for peace. I just needed peace. So God had to send turmoil my way, because I wouldn't understand and value peace if I didn't have to go through some mess. This year has been one of those years for me as far as health-wise, because as you see right now, I'm in my truck coming from the gym. I'm in shape. I'm doing all of this stuff. But inside, I was going through it. And it got so bad that a lot of people didn't even know. I'm in and out of the hospital, in and out of the ER. A lot of people didn't even know this, because I didn't come on here and I didn't say that because I'm not a woe is me type of person. But then there was a point in time that I was just like, God, I need you to fix this. I'm talking about the pain. Sometimes it's just so overbearing. A lot of times, if y'all don't see a video from me, that just means sometimes in that moment I am in some pain. So I kept going back to the doctors, whatever. They said, hey, man, white blood cells is off the chart. Like they're telling me all of this stuff. But in the meantime, I'm praying to God, like, God, I need your help. So now, next month, July 22nd, I have to have surgery. And, anytime you're going under, it's a scary thing. And sometimes I get kind of get down a little bit. And I'm just like, man, why me? Like, why I got to go through this stuff? But then I realized I prayed for healing. So in order to have that healing, they got to go inside of me. A surgery on my kidney. They have to go inside of me to help. But if you can't properly articulate certain things, I would be coming on here asking y'all to pray for me because I'm going through some stuff. But just saying a invalid prayer like that would take away from what I asked God to pray for. I asked God to heal me, and now they got to cut me open to heal me. Think about that. I asked for this. Now, I didn't want to get no surgery, but I asked God to heal me. But surgery is what must take place for my healing. But if my perception is wrong, I would be coming to people saying, y'all pray for me. I got to go through all of this stuff. See, the devil will always attack your vision. That's why you have to be able to articulate the very thing that you're praying for, because there's a difference between problems and God problems. You come on social media and you asking people to pray for you because your bill is due. That's a problem. And a lot of the times that's a you problem, because guess what? Your bill is due, but you ain't missed no drinks. Your bill is due, but you ain't went a day without smoking. Your bills is due, but you got on the new Jordans. See, that's a you problem. That is indicative on what it is that you're not doing. But when a God problem shows up, see, that's something totally different. Because when God sends you a problem, he is the only way that you can get through that problem. And a lot of times a God problem looks overwhelming because guess what? To the mere mortal, it is overwhelming. You know, when you experience death, and I talk about my grandparents' death all the time, it's monumentous to me, and I still cry to this day. To this day, but it's a different type of cry now. Because see, I don't cry for the reasons that other people might cry, because they knew that I loved them because of how I showed up. My grandfather wanted his name to mean something in the world, and I am doing my best to do that. And not only am I doing my best to do that, he got to see that in real time. Before dementia overtook him, he got to see when they said my name, it was followed with great things. And that made him proud. My grandmother wanted the name to mean something. So when she heard Little Rodney, it was followed by, man, Little Rodney was talking about you today, man, this, that, and other. So she was proud. So when I cry, it's not because of the things that they didn't get to see. I cry because I miss them physically, but they live on through me. But in 2024, when my vision wasn't as clear, I thought that losing them, I was going to lose my mind. But years before that, I prayed to God for peace. So what I thought was a catastrophic thing, I had already prayed for, because that was a God problem. And God had to show up and really present himself to me so I can get through it. But guess what? I went through it. So now when someone else go through it, I am living proof that you can go through it. When somebody is battling a sickness, I'm living proof that I get up, and there's some days that I'm telling you, the pain is just so unbearable, but you would never know it. You would never know it because I prayed for this. So when you come to me and you say, pray for me, I'm okay. What we praying for? Because we got to make the vision plain. Relationships. Some of y'all are praying for this perfect relationship. But my question to you is, are you exhibiting the type of relationship that you want? If you want a certain type of man, are you presenting those qualities? If you want a certain type of woman, are you presenting those properly? Are you? You got to have the vision, and that vision has got to be plain. I'm sorry that it's so long, but this word was so prevalent on my heart this morning, because a lot of time these videos come from a place of pain for me. But it's not the type of woe is me pain. It's just thinking back on some times, because that's what you have to do sometimes. You don't dwell in the past, but sometimes you have to look over your life to see how far you've come. You might think that you've only made baby steps, but to someone else, those baby steps are giants. Y'all have a blessed day.